Good morning, afternoon, and evening to our listeners. Welcome to in12d. Your host, Ramsey Chiri. I'm in Canada. Unfortunately, today he wasn't able to join us. In12d. Your host, Ramsey Chiri. I'm in Canada. Unfortunately, today he wasn't able to join us. In12d. Your host, Ramsey Chiri. Unfortunately, today he wasn't. Susie, would you take that? There's a
Do you want to mute yourself? Coming from. We end the stream and start again.
No, it's coming from you, Susie. So that's okay. We'll start again. Welcome to in12d. Sorry, we had a bit of technical difficulty first 20 seconds. Tonight, we have a special guest with us, Hans Andeweg. And Susie, you wanna introduce our guest tonight? Yes, Hans Andeweg. Okay, Susie, you have a page that is open. That is the YouTube page is open on your computer. If you don't mind closing it. Hans, welcome to in12d. My apologies for the technical difficulties that we have tonight. We're so glad that you accepted our invite. I know we met at the Science and Consciousness event in England back in November. Susie, Kathy, and myself, we were there. We had such a blast working with you that we really had to have you on our show tonight. So, Hans, please do introduce yourself to our listeners, and while Susie gets back online.
Well, thank you so much, Ramsey, for having me. It's really a pleasure, and I remember our meeting on Broughton. It was such a joy. And well, my name is Hans Andeweg. I'm here living in Germany, in north of the Ruhr area. I'm Dutch, so my home country is only 1 hour away. I'm founder of Center for ECOintention, which brings good energy flow to nature and companies, in fact, globally. And we also offer a vocational training to learn this wonderful practice so you can become an ECOintention practitioner when you finished. And we have lots of people applying this also all over the world. And what we try to do is really to find this practical combination of old wisdom and modern science. And to my astonishment, it's all possible and to make this work. And we're doing this now for about 30 years.
That's interesting. Susie, you're back. Glad to have you back.
Sorry, it was all on my end. Yeah. We just had a little techie issue there, but I'm so delighted to be here with Hans and Ramsey as well, who I'm sure you just heard we met at the Science and Consciousness Conference in England. And yeah, Hans, you're an energetic healer, an author, co-founder of the Center of ECOintention with a background in science and biology, I guess. And I just love, like, from what I've learned over the last couple of months listening to you and reading about your work, how you seem to blend ancient wisdom with modern science. So you're very welcome. And we'd love to hear about your story, how you got from living an ordinary life, I guess. I know you were really into playing the guitar. You told us that. And how did you get from being the guy with the guitar to living this rather extraordinary life?
Well, to be honest, I think each life is extraordinary, and I think we're all special. Although for many people, their own life doesn't look special. When we look at it, there are always those special things. And I just, try to find a path. And when I was a kid, I had this, perhaps I was clairvoyant, I don't know, but my parents always said, well, there are no ghosts, no things, no nothing. So I started to deny it, but always was interested in spirituality and in music. And my dream was to be a musician, being songwriter. And, it was the time of the Beatles, Simon and Garfunkel and all this stuff. So I learned to play the songs and playing this. And I went to school, but it was always difficult to learn because it didn't match with what I felt. And in the end, I still went to study biology, and it was more a way to get away from home, to be honest, and to live. But in that time, you could really do anything in your study which you liked. And so I was a little bit the long student, but I also took philosophy, management, and psychology and teaching, because it all interested me. And I didn't know why. Many people say, when you do this, you never can find a job. I said, well, I don't need a job because I want to be this musician. And then, you know, I finished finally my study, and it was in '89. At that time, I was a researcher in organic agriculture, so I found a little bit a job doing what I learned, and I also like to be in organics, the alternative, and biological dynamic agriculture based on Rudolf Steiner's work, which also started to read those days. And there I came on this path of the energetic healing. That was the Institute for Resonance Therapy, which in fact was not that far away where I'm living now. And I worked there till 1997. And there we started with the resonance therapy. And I think this is one of the words you have in your title. And to really develop a method for large-scale healing of forest dieback, which at that moment was a lot of things in Czech Republic and Eastern Germany. And that method was based on radionics. It was a method that came from the United States, Stanford University. There were so-called radionic devices, perhaps little computers, and you had an aerial map of the area. You put it in and you turned some dials, and well, the healing happened. This method they took, and we tried developed that further on. And but from the beginning on, it was meant that it should work and we should have scientific proof. So we started to, my job was to work with the scientists to set up all the experiments, because we were working in the beginning of the 90s already all over Europe. We were quite successful, also had the scientific proof by the scientists. So we did projects from that institute in Germany, in Holland, in Belgium, in France. I went to Sardinia, in Italy. Also started to work in the Czech Republic, and even President Gorbachev, he heard about our work, and he asked us to balance a large estate north of St. Petersburg. And so this method was very successful, how we developed, and it was also, to question how we can link it with modern science. So we worked remotely, and it was a very, we came to hey, you can use perhaps the morphic field theory for Rupert Sheldrake, how you connect with the field over a resonator. And we even spoke with him about it, and he said, well, it's so advanced, I still have problems to explain people how rats he liked it, how rats could resonate with the rat morphic field, and what you are bringing, it's much too far ahead. But he acknowledged it, and and we worked also later on. We started to develop this method more away from the radionics. In fact, we discovered we don't need the devices. You can just work with the aerial map. There is resonance with the field, and we have also symbols resonating with their field. And we discovered that the field of those symbols, especially mandalas, and that was so inspiring still, is that they really contained, those field of solutions for our actual problems. So isn't that amazing? So we are facing so many problems, but those ancient fields, how old are they? Resonating with the symbol, they contain the solutions. So when you connect the fields, those solutions can be downloaded in the field of a forest, and the forest can start to heal itself and be more compatible with the environment. And so we started to study the symbols, the Hebrew signs, the mandalas, and the Sri Yantra and prayer. And I discovered, or in fact we started to do this again, that everything has an energetic effect, but it all has a different effect. So this was the development of a so-called energetic toolkit, what we also teach our students, that they, you have a mandala, but this has a certain effect on, say, vitality, self-organization. And you can have the Sri Yantra, but it opens intersections and connects the forest with its own field of knowledge, but not with the new one. We have so-called grounders that bring in grounding in like petrified wood, or the Hebrew sign Sadeh. So this was in the beginning, and it worked very well. But at the end of the 90s, the whole thing literally exploded. And then I discovered, well, we are doing this so well, but somewhere we are not able to keep it up for ourselves. The whole team collapsed, and then I discovered it was really a lack of energetic hygiene. And if you're not trying to do your best, what we did, you give your energy from yourself, from your lower chakras, and finally it leads to a burnout. And when people have low energy, you are irritated and you start fighting each other. So that's why we said, okay, I left that moment this Institute for Resonance Therapy, and it didn't stay for a long time. It also got broke, and Rijk Bols, still being my partner in this work, she came with me, and then we said, okay, this works wonderful. We all have this scientific proof. It can be linked to science, even to 0-point energy and whatever, but we should develop in such a way that, it is also be fun for us at the end. So that's why we start intuitive development, etc. And that's all important for yourself to do this.
I'd love to just kind of back up a tiny little bit. Like, so at that point when, you weren't able to kind of maintain that field, that energy within each individual, I suppose, that was creating that collective. Was there a point when you acknowledged, okay, we have to do our own sort of, as you said, energy hygiene, or our own inner work as well? Because is there something like, are you as a practitioner in resonance with what's happening in that environment? Like, so is there a mirror effect? Is there like how did you come to that part? I'm really curious.
So when we started this, the people at site were not involved. And it was already one mistake we had to learn, because you always need to work, we call it the guardian, the person or persons who have the company under their wings, so to say. And they are in fact literally in charge, because they charge the whole system from their heart with their intention. And if you take over their job, you start to pull their car, and that is tiring. So it's not sustainable. That is one very important thing. So it never can be done with the people at site, and you should literally involve them and teach them how to do this. So that moment, the whole teaching came in. And also you really have to learn how to connect, but also how to disconnect. And when you do this, also how to cleanse your own energy, because there's always this effect. But it's so normal when you dig in the garden, you digging for the weeds, you get dirty hands, we clean it. But nobody is aware when you're working with energy, you also get that energy from the other. So we have really to define an energy field, how to work with it, how to cleanse yourself, and to check the other thing. It is always, we call it this matching picture. With anything you are allowed to heal, there's something between the two of you, and there's a kind of pattern, something that brought you together. So I have learned from each project we balance. And if I don't find it, the healing won't be sustainable. It won't be, I can't finish it.
I have a little question. You mentioned energetic hygiene and basically how to clean and stuff like that. What is the process in order to clear up a person's energetic field? Is there a specific what do you call it, technique that you use, or is it regular general imagination type of cleansing?
Well, it's a good question, Ramsey, because there are so many methods. And you are invited in ECOintention to find your own method. And we, so there are mental methods. You can also work with a crystal or with the scent. And it's always, so when you do this for yourself, you can find the way, what's the best way for you. When you work with a project, with a forest, or with a big home or a company, then you have your energetic toolkit with certain ways of cleansing, and you ask, or you in resonance with this project, with its consciousness or deva, which method suits the best with your project. So I cannot say this before, and I will always do this, because then I am telling it what it should do, but I'm asking you what you need, or your higher self, so to say. Is that an answer to your question?
Yes, it does. It does. Because I know a lot of people have or prefer a certain technique, and to move in with it. I'm more of a free flow type of a person, depending on what comes in and how it comes. And I kind of use that to move forward with whatever I'm doing. And your answer basically fits in with my model of cleansing the energy. Thank you.
I'm curious. Can I ask a question there? Because I did a lot of training in like pranic healing, and so it's about kind of being able to scan energy, using your hands again. What are the ways that you're measuring the energy that you're working with? Because you're working remotely as well, from what I understand. So would you like have a map, or a drawing, or do you just write it down? Like, I'm curious about kind of that part of your process.
Yes, it's a good question. Thank you. So the ECOintention practitioners learn to work at site with their hands. So you can do prana healing, Reiki, reconnective healing, quantum touch. So there are many ways to do this. They also learn to read energy. So you can really scan energy with your hands, like or with your inner eye, but in such a way that we can check upon each other. So when you go to a site and you come back to the story, it should be communicated in such a way that I can follow you and also come to the same perception or something else. Therefore, we also do dowsing. We develop certain scales with like the Bovi scale, and we douse the amount of grounding, the amount of life energy in a system. So the practitioners really do tests, and also need to do, because we are a recognized training, so they do this test together, and so that we can check upon each other. And that is at site. We have certain, control points where we check if the energy which we send remotely literally arrives at site and comes down. And when we are remote, we use this map or another kind of photograph, and you place this in an energy field, and then when there are two practitioners, they make a hard connection to be completely neutral. One can do the test, so he or she connects by the map with the field, and then can douse, the Bovi number or other parameters, and the one being connected can check. It's if you are listening to the phone call and you're listening what the other one is discussing, and if the one sensing, also writing it down, doesn't agree, they do it together. So it's always the check upon check, and we call this intersubjectivity. It's based on this intersubjectivity.
Okay. So is that how you gather the data then from your scientific background? Like, is there sort of a, I don't know, like a spreadsheet or something that you're inputting information, and you're kind of building up a picture energetically? Like, does that then form a graph, or?
Yeah, good. Yes, we really, so because the balancing, when you're working with such huge areas, which we do, of 10,000 hectares or 100,000, even larger, and it's it takes longer. It's not like the magic wand and there I go. It takes a year to really make it coherent and to make it work. Also that the goals of the guardian, they realize, they manifest themselves. So you need a year. And there we keep track on the energetic development of the project by the readings we do. And, there are certain target levels we found by the work that it should be about 8,000 bovies and so much percentage of grounding. Then we say, now it's stable. But you see the development over the year. And this is one way to keep track with the energetic development, and also such a way when one of us gets sick, the other one can take over any moment, but also to have your conversations with the guardian, because when you have this energetic development, it enables you to predict changes in the system. So when I'm working, in the corporate where we also work, we can show them that for certain changes in the company you are working with, for instance, you have to wait 2 weeks longer, because then the energetic climate is much more favorable than the moment you intend to do.
Wow. It's amazing how you can kind of apply the technique to so many different kind of environments, like corporate or leadership or, forestry, agriculture. And I suppose the other part that I'm trying to really understand it is, so you're tracking it over a set period of time. And then when you complete, so you've reached, I suppose, a level of coherence that you're aiming for, and then you move on maybe to the next project the following year. Is there sort of a maintenance, or is there what happens when you leave? Does it go back, or does it go? I don't know.
No, it collapses. No, it does not. No. So this is why I said the most important thing is to involve the guardians or the team of guardians, and you teach them how to take over. And these are the principles of energetic guardianship I describe in my book, The Universe Loves a Happy Ending. So the ECOintention Practitioner, they learn to work with the energetic toolkit, with all the symbols and everything. But in fact, when you bring it back, to the core, it's your heart, your attention and intention, the focus. That's the two things you need to generate this formative force, like we said. Information plus life energy generates a formative force. And this is the force, this is the feminine formative force. The other one is the masculine expansive force. We know this force because it's really all over present in this world. But the other one, that's the hidden force. We enhance and we balance the two. And this is what we teach the guardians, how to work with their heart and with their intent, visualizing their goals and so ever, and how to maintain the energy. And if they want, we can always come along to do a checkup and do some balancing, whatever.
I have a question. You mentioned the guardian a couple of times. The guardians are physical people that are responsible for that project, correct?
Yeah.
How about the unmanifested spirits that are involved also in that project? Are they given the task of being the guardians of it, or during the process of cleansing?
It's a good question. Yeah. So
or how that interaction goes?
This interaction is there very much, because the spiritual world is also, we work in the material world, but is always in cooperation with the spiritual world, because energy comes first and matter follows. So we are aware of the divas, but also the entities living on areas, and even, the lost souls or whatever you can call it. And also working with the animals. And we have this large project in the Wadensee Sea in north of Germany. And there are not really guardians there. And we were brought there, and there's this island Helgoland, and live a lot of German people, but they didn't want to really to play this role. And then one of the practitioners, well, there are a lot of dolphins there. We can connect, with the spirit of the dolphins and ask them to take over that role. And they said yes. And well, this is always ECOintention, and I can tell this here in this. It always sounds so weird that you are connecting to the dolphins in the Northern Sea, and you have conversations with them. And I can remember once, it is I think an extraordinary story, because we also work with indigenous tribes, and one time in Southern Africa. And they lived there for about 30,000 years. And few years ago, they were given the right to roam again through their country. So that was a large event, and they asked us to work with them and to balance their land. I said, okay, well, that's a great honor, thank you. But their land was huge, it was hundreds of kilometers on the west coast of South Africa. And I said, okay, to the Guardian, he was a younger man of 26, but he had this stature and his presence of being the chief, and he was elected. So okay, who is the Guardian? Are you the Guardian? He said, no. He said, this is the soul of our people, the spirit. And it was such a moving moment, because I felt that he was really connected with his soul as being an entity, an energy being present, this collective consciousness of his people. And it was really one of the times that we connected with something not with him, but higher, And so, to answer your question, we do. It was a very successful project, and they took it over afterwards, and I was, really felt honored to work with them.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Susie. That's fine.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's just like the indigenous people of South America were to use the spirit of the jungle to protect and cultivate positive energy for the land, to keep on basically working, exchanging energy between the land and the people.
Wonderful, yes, and that's what thank you for bringing it. That's said that's in this way it's possible to connect ancient wisdom with modern science, and to communicate about this with the people, and they also feel you understand them, and that's way how we connect with them and cooperate with them, and also how we learn from them. So that makes me very into doing this work for 30 years now, but I'm still learning and discovering, and it's still an extraordinary journey. And you're able to teach other people. We started doing this alone, and it felt lonely in the beginning, I must say. But although you always, when you're in a forest, you can always talk to the trees. In a way, you're never alone. But but now you have a whole group of practitioners. You do crazy things, I say. But it works, that is what it does.
When I had the pleasure of taking part in you did a lovely taster I think it was last Monday, and it was really interesting, because at one point we were put in the breakout rooms, and I always find those really interesting. You never know who you're going to end up chatting with, and the first lady that I was connected with in the breakout, she was like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. And I was like, cool. And, we were just having a chat, and she was like, this is beyond me, this language, this, even the concepts and stuff. And she said, and I said, so how did you get here? And she said, I probably wouldn't say this normally, but in this scenario, I'm going to tell you, and I think it's okay to share it here. But she said, the land actually kind of told me. And she's working on this land in another country, and she just wasn't sure what to do with it. And she felt that the land spoke to her, and through her. She knew she was looking for something, she told me. And she was on her laptop. She was kind of searching, not knowing what she was searching for. But when she came across ECOintention, she was like, this is it. And then she looked and she saw that this taster was happening. And I just loved stories like that, that people find their way, they find the tool, they find the book, the teacher, and I think that's why I feel kind of very strongly and passionately about that people keep, giving opportunities for people to learn and to grow and to pass it on. It's we talk about ancient wisdom, but this is really important wisdom in today's world to pass on and to share. So I loved that the land spoke to her, and she heard it. That's what blew me. I was like, she heard.
Well, that's the most important, because I think nature speaks a lot to us, and animals speak to us, but we don't hear it. And then we come to the intuition. I think our heads are so filled with yes, but, thinking. That's why we say yes, but, yes, cut. So when we come to inner silence, there is room to listen and to hear and to open up for insight and inspiration. It is intuition. And that's, I think it's all about. And I think that's why the role and the importance of intuitive development is so important, And the other thing is, I always hear that people have extraordinary meeting in our breakout rooms, and that they, I think when you create, facilitate, I would say attend with good energy, then there can be a party, but the people are making the party. But the energy also creates coherence and also synchronicity. That's the whole magic of time. So when you are in order, the world outside there is order, and then you meet on your path what is meant to be. It clicks, it gets all in sync. It's get in synchronicity, and this is what happens. So you can, in this way, you can even predict change happening when, on this journey doing our work. You can feel and sense when the energy is coherent, and this synchronicity will happen and things. So, normal in the quantum field, it's 50-50. And it's a matter of chance. And people say, well, I can't affect chance. But the thing is, you can. You can do this by creating a coherent environment or a coherent time-space holon, like we say. And with ECOintention, we can affect it from 80 to 20. So that's a lot in the quantum field, yes. So you can go up to 80% of good luck, and still there's 20% of bad luck instead of 50-50, And this is already a lot. And what we
this
do.
is actually amazing. It's phenomenal to move it into 80-20. Is there a tip that you'd like to share with the listeners on how to increase that probability to 80-20?
Well, at first, I think it's to connect with your inner world. It's not out there, it's in you. So it really makes sense to say bye-bye. It was we time, and now it's me time, And then it starts connecting with your body and to be grounded. And many people nowadays are not grounded. And it is just surrendering to gravity, to feel that you do your body work and, go out in the forest, breathe good food, and be connected in your body. And then how you do it, it doesn't matter. It can be mindfulness, but how you create inner silence. Yes, but, cut. That's the most important thing. And I think enjoy life. I think we are amazing, and there's a lot to learn. But I think it's such wonderful and great to be on this planet. And to really to enjoy the present moment. And there's so much distraction at the moment. And all people are working on the telephones, and it's not there, it's here, it's in you. And I grew up without a telephone, without a fax, and I didn't have that feeling, I was missing something. And when I was missing something, I took my guitar and started singing. I don't know, but yeah. So it always seems to be somewhere else nowadays.
Are you still playing your guitar, Hans?
Yes, I do. I had a new album out in.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it's on Spotify. You can find it even on YouTube, my songs. There's one English. It's a drinking song. My God, my first English song. It's Give Me Rum. I wrote songs for a shanty choir, my brother is doing Shanti, the sailor song. So they asked me to write the sing, and they're all drinking the rum. And it's an album. It's called Alles verandert, everything changes. And it has Dutch songs, French, German, and English songs, and it's salsa, big band, and folk, and everything. So that's I also love to make music and to sing.
Do you think that that's the key for you, in particular, like that you have really developed this incredible, love for music and creativity, and just how you can really kind of get into your own kind of harmony, let's say, and then on the other side of the coin is like the science and the way you kind of map everything out, and you write your books and you do your teacher training and your trainings, and like, from the structure to the kind of harmony, like are they both kind of qualities that have assisted you as you develop and continue to learn, I suppose, and develop this system?
Yeah, I thank you. It sounds so much, but it's just being curious. I think that is, that's why I studied biology, because I'm so amazed about life, about nature, and I can go alone and see just a bird and look it in the eye, and there's so much wonder. This is what I want to understand, and I came on this path, and we had this dying forest, and great, you can do something for the trees. And I couldn't sense energies in the beginning at all. So I also learned to do this. And then we all learned, I learned so many things by mistake, learning by doing. And I saw the results, what you can achieve with this world. And that made me very hopeful. And also decided, I'm okay with singing, but they're much better singers and I am better songwriters. And I discovered there's nobody doing this kind of work. So let me do this. And when I can make a living, because I started to work at this Institute for Resonance Therapy, I had an income, and the whole thing, we were collapsed. There was nothing left. We were unemployed. I said, okay, I got to do something to make a living. And let's try to give a course. So it all developed step for step. So the road was the journey of, the road is the goal, they say. And this is what, and it was really hard work. You always see the results, but there's a lot of hard work and perseverance behind it also. And still, the world is changing dramatically at the moment. So, and the mindset of people, and we're still looking, okay, it's the next year, and I have 20 people on the payroll at the moment. It's great, but they each month they also look, have to pay, the rent and other stuff, so somewhere you have to generate an income and a turnover. So I also have to look at the figures and the money. And so but that for me, for being a person, not being grounded, not knowing what to do in life, think, oh yeah, you came a long way, and then achieved something. Oh yeah, nice. And now here with you, and yeah. But always say, when you're on your path, it doesn't matter when I think you're also here on the planet to experience, matter, and sometimes it's difficult because it's a part of your learning process. But I think when you're really on your path, there's always this one moment of joy during the day. That's my deal with the cosmos. I always say, when I'm on my path, give me this one moment, of inspiration during the day and of joy. And well, you are my moment of joy today. I really am. So this is really fun to be in. No, really. I had
Thank you.
Oh gosh, it's really about business. But I was really looking forward being here. And yeah, it's nice
good.
to share. Thank you.
So this connection with oneself and art and stuff, do you think that the faculty of imagination and art are kind of a catalyst to increase the intuition that we feel? Or is it that and something else in your experience?
Well, you don't need to be necessarily, musician or something else, but I think we are all so blessed. We have so many talents as human beings. And but talent needs to be developed. You need sometimes a good teacher. And I think we're all being born being very intuitive and open and sensing. And we lost, like my parents, they said, oh, it's not true what you perceive. Said, okay, it's not true. So we have to refine ourselves. And for many people, songwriting, it's magic how you do this. Even, when Elton John, he sits down, takes it. I don't know where it comes from, but it comes from somewhere. And now, when you develop your intuition, the process, even the technique, you can really sit down and write a song in an hour. Paul McCartney needed less time to do this. He wrote the song, Ching, there, he got it. So, I wrote songs for people that asked me for a certain event. And okay, now tomorrow I will write the song. So I know I can sit down and I have to do my preparation. And in 2 hours, I have the words and the chords, and it's there. So you can learn how to do this, and how you do it. That's up to you, but we work with intuition magic, the developed Linda Keane developed. She wrote several books about it. She's living now in California, but she had a school in the Netherlands. It's still very, famous in Holland. We use her method, and we offer the course Develop Your Intuition. We will start again in September. And there you really learn, how to develop your intuition, to trust in it, but also how to read energy and to do healings. We bring in even some shamanism in this. And this is taught in Netherlands, live at site, but we developed in such a way you can even do it online. So this is another thing. And this is me, if people tell me it's impossible, wow, that's great, because I want to show them it's possible. And it's possible, to work remotely and to have results. It's possible to read energy when you're online. It's possible to see an aura from somebody when you're both online and to do a reading and everything. And this is what we all developed. And each time there are new possibilities. At the moment, I'm working a lot with virtual reality. See, and this is what I like, to bring this whole esoteric thing in latest techniques. So there are many projects. We work even in Russia. We have a large project doing south of Moscow, and we are not able to go there anymore. So, and we don't get any pictures anymore to check the situation at site for the people. We can't. So but you're able with Google Earth, with a virtual reality, Lasse, to go there in such a way you can really land in the landscape, and you can sense the energy there. Mm-hmm. This is what we do, and this is what I do with the practitioners. Yes.
Also, you capitalize on the technology present in order to be able to travel and feel the energy of certain spaces.
I didn't hear you a question. Something that in the.
Oh, my apologies. Okay. I said you are capitalizing on current technology in order to move through space and feel the energy of faraway land.
Yes. So I really, this is also amazing that we are here in Zoom. We're using this, and so we have this technique, and it has many negative sides, but there are also positive sides, and this is our freedom, how we use it. And in a way it's challenging, that even when you discover, it's each person is telepathic, and you can connect with anything when you learn how to do. So when you sit down and you relax and you think of a person, you connect to the person by its field, which is present everywhere. You have an impression. Many people never take this for truth, and okay, but when you learn to do this reading, say, hey, there's really something happening with the person. So you don't need a map. But when you have a huge complex forest, it's difficult to have it in your mind. The Guardian has, so there you can use this aerial map. So, but also the opposite around is possible. I can travel there. I can take a picture and put it on the ground, and I can have the energy of the force manifest in my room just by having an aerial photograph. But now in virtual reality, I can go there and use this latest technique to really be there at site and to do energetic readings. And the thing is, we are developing this now to do this with a group, so you can travel together, to a remote area and do energetic readings there, to sense. You can even go to planets. It's amazing. I'm experimenting. I went to an asteroid, and there are 3-day, footage in the internet of moons and everything. So you can really go there in virtual reality and land on the surface. And it's incredible, to sense the energy of those areas. And it's amazing to do and feel presence of consciousness there. And I almost felt that I was the alien. I came there and I said, perhaps I should not stay too long here. And I left. But this is what we do in ECOintention, trying to do journeys together and explore and also use modern science and ancient techniques, and to bring something that could do good on for the planet, and to listen to the land and communicate with it and discover new world.
It's like there's no end to it. Like it's limitless, really. When, like, I was fascinated reading about the people who were doing the remote viewing of Jupiter before they had even got the pictures of it, and then they got the pictures and it was able to back up the data that he had made. I think it was Ingo Swann, but like something that I was really interested in was, I was working with a group of people. I noticed when we go into like a retreat setting and a sort of coherence starts to happen, as the group kind of settle in for maybe a week or something. And one evening we were just kind of going into resonance. Like it was we were kind of making it up as we were going along. Honestly, it wasn't based on anything I read or learned, but we started to go into resonance with the concept of time. And so some of the people were moving into kind of old time and new time and present. And it was really like there was a lot of information coming through because it was a big enough group, of people. And I really started to play with that myself, because I was thinking, wow, the future maybe is what is actually informing the present on some level. And, I was curious, do you find that with, transcending the linear concept of time, I suppose, kind of into the non-local field or something, that there is no time? And do you think that at times that the future kind of healed aspect is coming back to inform your practitioners in what they're doing? Would that be stretching it a bit far?
No, not for me, not for us. No, not at all. Because we work a lot with time, with the time-space continuum. And there is time in I call it the Gaia game we are in, and we need time to do our, to have our adventure. But you can transcend them. And I think we are the only beings on this planet that are aware of time. Animals are always in the present. They're always, if the power of now, if you just want to study this, look at animals, they don't have intuition, they have instinct. So they follow the field, but we are aware of a past, a present, and a future. So we are already time traveling every day, but we're not aware that we can affect the past and that the future is pulling us. So the past is pushing and the future is pulling us forward. And you can even affirm the future literally by affirmations. You can visualize. So the future is open, from the here and now. That comes to the point, but the farther away, the more possibilities there are there. And you can choose one of the possibilities and really affirm that when you really hook it, you throw your anchor and you start pulling it towards you, or you pull yourself into the future. That's the whole principle. But what happens then, that your burden past, your karma, which is behind you, which is also in resonance with your future, that comes in front of you and wants to be transformed before you can reach your final goal. That's the only deal you have with the cosmos. They say, when you're on your path, it's important you get there because it's your learning journey, but you have to clean up all the things on your back. So it's put in front of you. And you can even predict when this is happening. This is what you can do with our work. We also check the burdened past. And there are certain moments of transformation. And you see the graph moving upwards, and there is this intersection. Okay, in 2 weeks' time, be prepared, it can come upon you. So be alert. There's some bad weather coming up, and you have to go through it. But if you know there's rain coming out, it's helpful you have an umbrella with you. So still your experience in the rain, but it's easier, than you are not closed well. So we do a lot with time, and it's for me, it's a workable concept, so to say. And time is linear. No, it's a cycle or a loop, how you want to call it. Yeah. So you can change things in the past, and you can't affect the time in between, but it will affect the present and the future. So you can go back in the past and change things. And I will teach people, to do this.
And then there must be some element or aspect of integration, because, if you're shooting all left, right, and center, back and forward, and then you have to really ground it, I guess, in your being, in this moment, in the right here and now. So there must be some. There must be some very clear integration work, because I do a lot of meditations with people, and one of the most important parts is when they're coming back out of the experience, to have enough space and time to really integrate it in your body, your mind, your spirit, on multiple layers of your being.
Yes, otherwise you get lost somewhere in the world. So that it really starts, saying your own name in the center of your head, like I say, in the dates of today, and also put it in your grounding to really anchor again in the present. And really, when you do this time traveling, which we do, because we can do balancing, in the future or in the past, whatever. That's a technique we train people in the 4th year. But sometimes we really forget, to disconnect from the future or the past, and parts of their energy is still there, and they forgot to pull it back. So you're quite dizzy, so to say. And this is all you need to learn, to really, and that's why you always work together. It's teamwork. I dive, and you always go down with a buddy. You keep an eye on each other, and it's the same with ECOintention. You do this. You check upon each other, and so when you are together and have this heart connection, that brings a lot of safety too, and also presence.
Do you want to
it's wonderful to talk about this, and this is what I feel. It's amazing because I'm doing this for a longer time, but the world is not. I always hoped it was getting better, but at the moment it's a lot of things going on. But I really feel the interest in people, and you organizing, this podcast, and it's much easier to meet people and to talk about these kind of subjects than it was ever before, and that is great. And many people say, "Oh, what I do, they think I'm crazy." Yes, I always say, altogether crazy is normal too.
I want to get on to the subject about your book that you're writing at the moment, Angels of Freedom. Do you feel on some level that our freedom is threatened at the moment, or, is that what kind of sparked you to start writing this book? Or I think it's more like a thought myself, that we think our freedom is threatened, but when we really connect and ground and go out in nature, it just feels so freeing, in my experience. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Well, the whole thing about the angel of freedom, it's the whole journey that starts in the heavenly paradise, and all the souls being together there, being happy in the book, they got anything they need. And suddenly one of them, discovers, something is missing, and the other one's starting to be restless, and they discover they feel bored. And they're such good, and they discover, in fact, there's nothing happening in heaven, and then the great gift, I call it, it's not God or whatever, but it's the one who gave all those gifts to us. He comes and says, yes, I've been waiting for this moment, because this, this desire should be born in you, because you are, your destiny is to become this angel of freedom. And they say, why is this? I said, because the whole cosmos is organized like for eternal laws and spiritual laws. It's all organized, but there is no freedom. In the cosmos is no freedom. So why is it so important? Because freedom brings something new in the cosmos, in creation, and you are meant to be this angel of freedom. So you are an adventurer, humans, you are pioneers. So go out, and discover all the things and just, be free. And then they say, well, then we can make many mistakes, things can go wrong. Yeah. They say, I know it can go wrong, but it is meant to be. You should make mistakes because you are forgiven. So they all want to wander out, in the cosmos. And then, no, wait a minute, there's this planet Earth, and there I created this special Gaia game for you. And that is the place, in the universe. It's extraordinary, where you really, if you want to develop your freedom, your sense of freedom, you should go there. There's no place is so dense, but so beautiful. And it had a lot of extraterrestrial civilizations contributing this, because it was very difficult first to find a planet who wants to join in this journey, to be part of it. And all the other ones had to bring their DNA to create your avatar, your body, because you have to go down there in this density. And I could only do this with all their help. So in a way, they're all involved. They're watching you. And then you will forget many, many things when you're there, because you are in an environment you can't imagine. It's so dense there, but it's beautiful. And then you have this freedom of movement, this freedom of speech, the freedom of communication, the freedom of forgiveness. And so I mentioned 22 different kinds of freedoms, we all can conquer on this journey. And so freedom is not something natural, it's something we need to conquer. And when I look at them, yes, we are really, our freedom is under pressure. And then it's also about that we are all gifted with this spark of love, the divine spark, is to stay connected where we come from. And to remember, and this is the most important thing, to stay connected with our heart, with this love, because this is the story also. There will be a lot of fear, on your path. But fear, when fear rules, love is under threat. So and that is the whole challenge, I think, at the moment, because the energies are now who are well present on the planet, all working, are all fear-based. So this is when, and when we get into this emotion, and there's also what's been told then in the book, that some of the extraterrestrial groups or races who helped us, they discover, because they are connected to us on this journey. So they are like, in fact, a little bit in the audience, but they perceive what we perceive. And some of them, they discovered that they like this frequency of fear. They nourish themselves with fear. So that's why they want to keep us in this frequency of fear. That's so, and this is what's happening on a higher cosmic level. And but we, that's it all. We are made to be great. Shine your love light. That is what it's all about. Stay connected with your heart and with your other human beings. Don't be afraid.
Wow. When is that due out? Is it nearly complete, or will it be?
It's at the publisher, and today I got a email, but that still needs to be published. So it's I have to finish the last chapter. It's about the thing is that we all bring a gift to life. So it's all designed as a wonderful party here, as all-you-can-eat buffet. And our host Gaia, she knows she's inviting us, and she has everything for us. But we came down, and it turned out to be a kind of Facebook party that got out of hand over here. So we took everything from the buffet, and our host said, this was not meant to be. So in the planetary consciousness, we are only here for 200,000 years, and it's like this. So Mother Earth is awakening now, saying, what's happening? So she now is, what will I do? Kick them out, organize some planetary catastrophe, or do we give them a last chance to clean up? And then the clue is, that's the final thing, before you go down, you go to a party, you always bring a present. So so we all brought a presence, especially all the, the souls who are now, and there are lots of them. So there are a lot of presence. And we all discover this present, what we hold in our heart. And it's not for ourselves, but it's something for the planet. So when we find this in our hearts and we give it all together, we can save the planet. So that's so you have to find your purpose. But there are also exercises how you can do it.
Yeah. Wow. That I'm really looking forward to that, I'll tell you. And I think this is the gift that you're bringing right now is mastermind over matter with ECOintention, your program, which is, I believe it's 8 weeks as far as I know, and it begins on Monday, the 31st of March, and it's an online program. And, highly recommended. I did the taster and I was just enthralled by all of it. There was just, some little bits, but it's like there was lots of kind of missing links kind of filled in for me personally. Like, so I think Ramsey's put the link in the chat below the live stream here, which is a PDF with more information on that. And I think you can register and read more on ECOintention.com. So from my heart to yours, with lots of love and deep, deep gratitude, Hans. Thank you so much.
Thank
you. We really appreciate your presence. And I will give you the last word. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. I think it's All You Need Is Love, and it is a song by the Beatles, and it's such a great song, and when they sang it the first time, it was the first thing broadcasted worldwide, and it's such beautiful that this message was first worldwide broadcast. And I think when we all, connect with we're all made to be great. In fact, that's the whole message. In fact, from COVID, that's another story. You can do another time, but I think we are there, and we all made to be great, and we connect with our love light in our hearts. The universe, loves a happy ending, but also Gaia, and we will have it.
Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate all the beautiful insight. And of course, for our listener, they can find you on YouTube, ECOintention, Facebook, ECOintention, Instagram, Center for ECOintention. I think, Facebook and Instagram, Center for ECOintention, and the YouTube is at ECOintention. Thank you so much, and looking forward to your book when it's out. I will be the first one to pick it up from the store.
Thank you so much for having me, and wish you good luck and much success with your wonderful program. Thank you.
Thank you.